boxing truth here. It's seems like Floyd Mayweather seems like he's a little butthurt. Definitely annoyed that Canelo is happening on his usual May date. Well, the past few years, Mayweather has been regularly headlining the Mexican dates in boxing in May and September. And this year is different. You got Canelo headlining in May against Khan at the new arena in Vegas that's affiliated with the MGM. Now, if you saw the Mayweather interview on Fight Hype, he said that he could easily threaten that date. He can easily threaten Canelo and just simply call up Danny Garcia and set up a 50th fight for his comeback against Danny for the WBC welterweight title. And just wanted to give my thoughts on that interview. I mean, I can't fault Floyd for being annoyed at pretty much mostly at Amir Khan. Khan is delusional to begin with, but if his statements are annoying me, then I can only imagine what his statements are doing to Floyd, because Khan's delusional to begin with, and ever since he finally got the big fight on pay-per-view, he's been saying some delusional statements like this fight's bigger than Mayweather and Pacquiao. No, it's not. I don't even think the fight does 1 million pay-per-view buys, but he's been saying other things that, this fight's bigger than the Super Bowl. And it just makes you roll your eyes and read those statements. I really wish Khan would just shut up, train, just try to figure out a way not to get countered by Canelo's shots, his left hooks. Try to figure out a way to make it past the first round, because I can envision Canelo knocking Khan the fuck out in the first round of the fight. Pretty much an embarrassing showing by Khan in his first pay-per-view. I can really envision that. I hope that don't go down. I wish Khan the best. Wish him luck, but I don't see him winning the fight. Could see him getting laid out potentially, but that's besides the point. The point is, I really can't fault Mayweather for being annoyed at Khan's statements, because they're annoying me as well, and I'm not even fighting. I'm not even involved in that. But when it comes to Mayweather's statements about he could easily stop this fight, I don't believe that to be true. And if Mayweather wanted to stop the fight, he would. But I don't think he can with a potential fight with Danny Garcia, because honestly, that fight does nothing for me. I'm sure it doesn't really do much for a lot of boxing fans. I mean, does that fight even interest you, Mayweather versus Danny Garcia? Because I'll tell you, it don't interest me at all. I just see another boring fight, and I know why Mayweather would fight Danny Garcia, because stylistically, it's a good fight for him. Danny's not an aggressive guy. He's a counter puncher. He likes his opponents to take charge of on offense so he can counter. Mayweather doesn't fight like that, though. He throws one punch at a time, steps away from his opponents, makes his opponents come to him, and he likes to counter. Mostly flat-footed fighters he's been fighting throughout the later stage of his career, besides Pacquiao. But he likes to counter with his, step back and then throws a straight right after an opponent's jab. Throws a stick to the body, stays on the outside, throws one shot at a time. It's just a style that's just not pleasing to watch. And then especially with a style with Danny's, who's a counterpuncher as well, I just see a really boring fight. I'm not interested in it. And that fight doesn't do 1 million pay-per-view buys, because Danny's a top fighter. His fan base has been growing steadily, but mostly on the East Coast. He doesn't have a proven market out anywhere else in the West Coast, and he's only built a solid fan base on the East Coast, and mostly with like the hip hop community, the cities on the East Coast. I really can't say he's built a big Hispanic fan base because unfortunately Danny Garcia doesn't speak Spanish. Yeah, he should really work on his Spanish. Maybe he could get a lot of uh, get a lot of Spanish fans on the bandwagon, especially his fans from Puerto Rico, because they can't relate to the dude because he don't speak Spanish. He's a gringo, They look at him as a white boy, so they can't gravitate towards him because he's not from the island, and he was born in the United States and he doesn't speak Spanish. So it's hard to build a solid Hispanic fan base when you don't speak Spanish and they consider you a gringo. So that fight, the over and under would be 500,000 buys. And in my opinion, I think it probably does around the same number, maybe a little less than Canelo Khan. I mean, I'm not a big supporter of Canelo Khan because I just think it's a fight to showcase Canelo, to make him look like a monster. And I know who's gonna win, and it's a fight that I'd rather see Khan Canelo. Honestly, but I'd rather see that fight because there'll be more action. Khan's been in exciting fights. Canelo's been in good fights. I wish he let his hands go more, but when he does put his punches together, it's nice to watch. It's nice to see. Yeah, he shows a lot of explosiveness, combinations, power, and speed. He just takes too many breaks in between. He fights in spurts. Luckily for him, Khan he's a very hittable guy, not very good defensively. So it kind of offsets the inactivity of Canelo with his in between combinations. But Mayweather just announced to the world that he's not really retired, because I really see him coming back. I just don't know when. To me, he's not retired. He hasn't. I don't understand why he's forcing this fake retirement. I see him coming back sometime this year. I don't know when, but however, Danny Garcia is not the fight to come back to. That's not the fight. It's not a big enough fight. Has to do more business sense than that if he's gonna come back. And right now the big names are locked up. Canelo's booked. Manny Pacquiao's booked. He'll never fight Triple G, but he's booked. I don't see that fight happening. And Miguel Cotto just lost. There's really not much intrigue in that fight anymore, because he just lost to Canelo, and I don't see that happening. But it's funny to hear from Floyd. I was wondering when he was gonna comment on this Khan Canelo situation. Being that it's on his usual May date. I knew Floyd wasn't feeling the fight. It was on his date. He doesn't like Oscar. Oscar's affiliated with the event. Still a lot of bad blood between them. Really don't get it. The bad blood between them. And also, Khan continues to take shots at Floyd. He's, saying that he pretty much exposed to everybody that perhaps Floyd was thinking about coming back on that date, and then Khan threw some jabs on Twitter saying that poor Floyd, he's not really that big in the UK as he thinks he is, because some of his appearances in the UK were canceled because, according to Khan, they weren't selling tickets. And he also added that, and I took your date. Pretty much just spewing jabs at Floyd, and Floyd felt, he had to respond. Don't blame him for responding like he did. I'm sure he's annoyed at the statements Khan has been making. But I don't really believe he could stop this fight. Not with a Danny Garcia fight. No, I really don't. But, Mayweather does have power. He usually can get things what he wants. But when it comes to this particular case, I think it's too late. It's already, Canelo's already signed, sealed, and delivered. It's already been announced. I don't think Mayweather can just make a phone call to the MGM and say, "Look, I want to fight on that date." I think it's too late. I mean, maybe it would have had a better chance. Say if that fight, Canelo wasn't announced yet, and they were still wrestling for that date, then perhaps MGM would have leaned towards Floyd. But Floyd didn't announce any plans about returning. He did come to Garcia's fight to scout him, but I don't know. I see Mayweather returning. I just don't know against who and when. But I don't think Garcia is gonna be that fight to entice Mayweather to come back. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this funny situation of the May date. Do you think Mayweather still has the power to stop Canelo? Can he just simply make a phone call, even though Canelo has been made, and say he can pretty much just threaten to stop that fight on that date? Y'all let me know what y'all think. This is Boxing Truth. I'm out.